Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Oh, shoot, man. It's going down. It is going down. Well, it's going up, as in upgrades, baby. Got some upgrades to the studio. We're going to have some fun. It should be a nice, new, good look for y'all here for DSR2. Sports ain't happening, but there's still plenty to talk about, and we are going to get into it all. We got the text line available to you. We are streaming on every single dango platform available all at once, so there's chat rooms everywhere. Wherever you're at, I'll be checking in throughout the show, so please get involved. So, without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is your host, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we're back here for another edition of DSR2 and our guest mid-coronavirus lockdown.
Yeah, right.
On it. Yes, we are trying to keep our social distance, well, somewhat. Not really, but whatever.
Hey, so we're pretty good in here, man. Where we got to put our hands out. We're not. Hey, baby, we're good.
6 feet apart.
Yeah, we're good.
So we still got, again, it was actually not a bad day here in the D. A little rainy, but a little warmer than I expected. So we got up to the upper 60s. So it looks like finally winter is finally done here. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But we got a full show here to talk about. We're going to have our recap of the NFL draft here. Again, thanks for everybody chiming in last week and watching it live with us for part of the first round there with it.
Yeah, as long as we could handle for that slow ass draft, but.
Days 2 and 3 were much better.
Yeah, I was about to say they were cumbersome early, but like the later rounds were better, and I have to say so were like the Lions' results weren't all half bad.
The Lions' results were actually pretty good, especially day 2 on there.
So yeah, so we'll get into that. We can break that down. You've got about 4 episodes of that Michael Jordan thing in. We got that on the table. Vince McMahon's getting sued in every orifice possible. Yes. We could probably talk about that today.
And we got the NCAAs basically saying, yes, we're going to try to fast track athletes getting paid here. Otherwise, we don't know what the hell we're going to do.
Well, there's that, and then there's all these alternate schedules kind of being tossed out there for the NFL and other sports.
MLB.
Yep, MLB. And so lots of stuff to talk about there as far as, you know what? Hey, man, it's an endless possibilities for us to kind of spit out what we could have here when it comes to what kind of sports, if any, we're going to have in the future. So
yes.
we're going to break it down. We're going to have some fun. The text line is available to you guys. I'll get that up for you here in a second. If you're just tuning in, we have a very cool new hookup to you. It's probably just super clear now compared to what you've had. The audio has been a rough scenario for us, and so is the video a little bit. We're back to true HD video and audio, so you should have great sound and picture here if you're watching us. And then we're on all platforms at the same time. Should be very little lag time in between, so you can kind of go wherever you want, our YouTube, our Facebook page, whatever, and check us out live. There's chat rooms and comment sections on all our media pages. I've got my little mobile device in my hand here. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth, trying to see what you guys are talking about. And this can go any direction you want. We want to hear from you. But like I said, the other way is to get involved in the text line. So text line is 313-307-5340. It's up there on the screen for you. Feel free to get in that way. If if you feel like you're getting lost in the comments or shit, you just want to be anonymous, I don't care. You want to be unnamed texter, that's fine. You can do that too. 313-307-5340. That's our text line. So check it out. All our cool new toys and fun stuff brought to you by J-Dub Belts. So need custom belts or leatherwork, go to jdubbelts.com. And we appreciate those guys for that, and for you guys for hanging out with us. And we've got some cool little additions to the page. So not only are we a little bit clearer, but now you see a timestamp at the bottom, so you can see what date, what time it is. You can kind of reference as you're watching the videos, so you kind of know where you're going, what's happening, and kind of feel the delay. So it'll help you out, hopefully, in that respect. And we're gonna have it should be a lot smoother, a lot cleaner, and a lot better, and still the silliest fucking content ever. And we'll add a ticker, and everything will be great. So on and on and on. All that out of the way, Moose. Where do you want to kick this thing?
Well,
off?
let's do a recap here of the NFL draft here on it. So, again, we said round one was the first, again, virtual draft on there. Really slow, really long. Didn't have on there. The only thing I really kind of, now looking back on it, really dug was the camera set up in all the first round draft picks houses and everything.
Yeah, it was neat.
I mean, that was better than the GMs at bad angles and that.
Well, it was like MTV Cribs, right? Like
it was
a little
I
bit.
mean, again, Henry Ruggs was the winner wearing an Old Spice bathrobe.
All right.
Dude, I don't need $1,000 suit. I got an Old Spice bathrobe.
I just wanted to show you what we look like now, Moose, compared to what we used to look like. Pretty clear, eh? Pretty nice. So, anyway, so yeah, that's MTV Cribs was off the chains. Oh, I mean, the draft was pretty good as far as that respect goes, but it was cumbersome. It was weird, but I definitely am glad they had something for us there. And when, like you said, once you got to day 2 and 3, they kind of worked most of that stuff out, and it wasn't too bad. I'm kind of curious of what the GMs and how everybody else kind of.
The GMs actually kind of liked it in that.
I was about to say, so far I didn't hear anybody.
No, the GMs and coaches liked it. They says because basically is they got to stay home,
right?
And he says, you know what, it was really cool that I got to have my kids around and watch it with it and doing all that. So that aspect is they really enjoyed doing that aspect wise with it,
right?
And again, I do understand that like when things get somewhat back to normal, that they're going to have to go back on the road again because again, it's the whole fan experience and everything.
Yes, yeah, and you know, there's money to be made at every corner, and they're not gonna mess that up.
We're going to lose dads flopping on the floor and going nuts and everything.
Yeah, right. I kind of like that aspect of the kind of behind the scenes kind of raw feel of it. I was a little disappointed that they couldn't come up with something a little cleaner and better and more functional for as huge of a production as the NFL is. That it wasn't a little bit, but like you said, like we were talking about, day 2 was a significantly better.
It's definitely a faster pace and everything with it on there. And again, our own Detroit Lions on there couldn't get the trade that they wanted, so they took Jeff Okudah on there. But again, definitely is day 2. They came. I mean, they came to play, man. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, again, getting DeAndre Swift with the 3rd pick of the 2nd round, I'm thinking, crap, they did it. I mean, I'm like, oh, they're going to take a defensive tackle. They're going to do something stupid. And I'm seeing Swift.
I'm like looking for tight ends or wide receivers or some dumb nonsense they don't need. Absolutely.
They need.
Absolutely.
I mean, Swift is there, and he's definitely the best player at the time, wise with it. And again, I know everybody was high on Jonathan Taylor. Dude, the guy ran 900 times in college.
Right.
How much tear is he? Where does he got left? Versus Swift, who ran 400 times.
Right. And I think that's what they're doing that's a little bit smarter than what they've done in the past. Because we know that. We know a running back's only got so many carries.
Right.
I mean, that's it. It's like buying a car. Like, you can maintain it, and you can take care of it, and you can extend the mileage, but it's only getting so many miles. No matter how well you take care of it, it's only driving so far before the thing blows up.
Right.
And we know running backs have a very short shelf life. And you needed somebody that's good, that's strong, that's young, that's in shape, that hasn't been beat down like that. And I think that was the first smart move or that I've seen him do in a while. I don't want to get too high on him because I know I'll be disappointed, but this is probably one of the best drafts I've seen in a long time from Lions from like a local standpoint. I mean, guys, how did your team fare in the draft? What do you think? Let me get that text line up there for you. Like I said, I don't want to get crazy, but I was,
and then the one thing I too, like about Swift was he was the best all-around running back. Yeah, Taylor's got blazing speed and everything with it, everything on it. But again, he does fumble a lot. He's not very instrumental in the passing game.
Right.
He definitely can't pass protect. Dobbins, a little bit better pass protection, doesn't get involved in the receiving game as Swift does. Swift can do it all. And again, I like the back that he's a decent size, 215 pounds, but he's short body frame wise. He doesn't run under. He's 5'9".
Right.
So that short, stocky guy that can just swivel on a turn and with it. And he says, "Listen, my whole game is built on Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
I watched him on there, and I wanted to be Barry Sanders."
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, all right.
I like you. I mean,
he
you
can
a lot.
receive and do everything with it. So honor, and again, getting Okora in the third round under, which I liked on that too. He's with it. I thought he was probably a early second round guy, especially if he didn't get hurt. He was probably going to be a first round guy, but he got hurt. He's going to play outside linebacker. He's going to be an edge rusher, very much like that on there. Wise with it.
Right.
He's going to be pretty productive. He's going to get you double digit sacks. Maybe not his fresh rookie year, but again, the second year and so forth with it. And I like taking the two guards in the one and the third. I like taking Jonah Jackson, a big road grading guard who doesn't give up sacks, who road grades people with it, can pass protect and rush protect under.
Right.
And Steenberg, I like the fact that he's a bastard.
Right.
I want a mean, nasty son of a bitch playing guard.
Yeah.
I mean, plain and simple. As David DeCastro is a mean, nasty son of a bitch under, and I wish they would have took him freaking 10 years ago. But no, we get fucking Riley Reef. Steve Hutchinson, who went to Seattle, out of Michigan, went to Seattle, then to Minnesota. A mean, nasty son of a bitch. That's what I want in my gut. I want a mean, nasty, dirty son of a bitch who's basically saying, you know what? Hold my ass on there. I'm going to run your ass over on that. So with it. So I like that aspect wise with it. The Huntley one under, but I've heard is they're going to be putting him at the slot receiver, so we'll be okay on that. Cephas on there, a big possession receiver on there. Okay, I like that because they're going to go with that aspect wise with it on there. And I don't know about the defensive tackles, but then again, they've got $30 million plus sitting in their salary cap space, so they can probably see who gets released and go from there on it. But it was the best damn draft I've seen out of the Lions in a long time, but we'll see what happens. I still don't think this team has enough talent to go on it, but 6-7 wins is probably the max anyways on there still.
All right.
But we'll see what happens on there. All I know is Aaron Rodgers' days are numbered in Green Bay.
Yeah, it sure seems like it, eh?
Jordan Love taking the first round. Everybody griped, they need a receiver, No, we're going to take a quarterback. He'll mentor. Bullshit. He's going to be a prima donna prick and say, fuck you, trade me.
Right.
And then they take a running back, a big 250-pound running back on there. I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Oh, gosh. Well, maybe they weren't. I mean, we're used to that, right? I mean, we get a lot of that here in Detroit, so I mean, I don't know what to say.
That was the one I'm going, what are they thinking on there, Wise, with it?
All right.
Oh, again, winners on there definitely is Cliff Kingsbury's crib, Scottsdale, and Jerry Jones' $250 million yacht. I saw a picture of that yacht. That damn yacht's like 350 feet long.
That's redonkulous. Absolutely redonkulous.
I'm going to go, I'll be in isolation here on my yacht.
Oh, God, that's silly.
And then Bill O'Brien, the general manager, should get punched by Bill O'Brien, the coach.
Yeah, what would the hell? I mean, talk about, I'm not sure how you managed to, between the way you dealt with Hopkins and then how you've drafted and how I'm not sure how you managed to stick your foot in your mouth and your head up your ass at the same time, but that guy's one limber motherfucker.
Right.
Because, I mean, that's what I feel like he's done. I mean, he couldn't get things right with one of the great receivers in the league when cats put up with, Ocho Cinco and Terrell Owens and all these other cats, and he couldn't, I don't know. And then he's just, and now his quarterback don't want to be there.
No.
So,
this guy, we're looking to resign him. He's like, no, I don't think so.
I'm telling you, you'd be lucky as fuck to resign him.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, franchise tag him or some crazy shit.
We'll have to franchise tag because he's like, no.
Yeah.
Again, New England not drafting a quarterback. They sign 2 as undrafted free agents.
Interesting.
Does that mean Cam's going, or are they saying screw it? We're going to tank to get freaking Trevor Lawrence. Screw it.
Oh, maybe. I mean, I to me, I don't know that. It doesn't feel like that's a Belichickian thing to do, though, is
do
it?
they go sign Cam? Because no one. I mean, who's going to sign? Cam's still sitting out there.
Right.
Winston signed a 1-year deal with New Orleans.
Yeah.
And he's already walking and going, oh my God, walking in and he goes, it's like going to Harvard versus where I was.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be so behind. That 1 year, that's just like, it's just so they have a warm body if Breezy happens to get hurt.
Right.
You know, that's all that is. And then they got to figure out what they're doing, too, because he's not going to be around much longer.
No. I mean, what are they going to do with Taysom Hill? Is he going to be the quarterback or is he going to be a body under? Freaking Philly taking Jalen Hurt in the second round. I mean, are they thinking about using him like that as Taysom Hill as kind of an athlete going, basically gimmick plays and
yeah,
stuff
like Wildcat shit.
Stuff on
I mean,
throw him in receiver, throw him in. Yeah, I know
I mean,
he's an athlete, but
I guess, but I just, to me, that gimmicky shit only works for so long.
Right.
You can do it for a season, but you can't do it as a rule of thumb.
you spent $100 million on freaking re-signing Carson Wentz.
Right. Well, and you can argue whether that made sense or not, because it ultimately boils down to, is he worth that kind? Is you getting that kind of value out of him?
He might be on it because they won the Super Bowl with Foles under, but again, the year he was having under. Remember, here's the thing: he has never had a 1,000-yard receiver there.
Right.
Period. I mean, his receivers, most I think they got is 600 yards. Yeah, he's gotten a great tight end with that under, but.
Well, I mean,
they have no receiver, and they still win games. They still go to the playoffs. They won their division. They won. I mean,
I guess, yeah. I mean, but you're talking about a division where the Cowboys had everything in front of them to run them down, and they shit the bed.
Right.
I mean, let's be real. So it's not like Philadelphia was lighting the world on fire, and I don't know that Wentz was either. So when I look at it, I'm kind of like, are they getting value out of him or not? Because you even said it. They won with Foles, and I don't think Foles is anything better. And if he's not, and if his receivers aren't getting 1,000 yards, why is that? Is part of that because he's outletting to the tight end too quickly, or they're not throwing downfield because they're not confident that they can protect him or he can read downfield. I mean, that guy's on the move an awful lot and getting bumped around a lot.
Always get hurt. I mean, it was like they just never had. I mean, Jeffrey was.
I'm sorry, Brady does it with no fucking receivers, and you other guys do it with. I mean, what's your boy that used to be in a Charger? Rivers. They used to take all his receivers away, and he would still have 1,000-yard receivers, and they would still move down. So I mean, like it can be done, but can he do it? It's the same way I feel about Goff in the Rams, L.A. because. You put all this money into them, and when you had like all those all-star guys around there, you got to the Super Bowl, and then you shit the bed. I mean, that was coaching, I think, a lot of that. But you got to the Super Bowl and you shit the bed. That your window was 1 year essentially because you're anticipating this guy to carry this kind of weight that he didn't carry, but you paid him to carry. I think both those guys have legitimate question marks around them.
Right.
And so, and to me, neither one of them have let the world on. Those two teams, to me, seem so very similar. They're not, but those two quarterbacks, it's similar situations in totality. I don't know how to say it. I'm not sure, but I don't know. It's just neither one of them light the world on fire, and they've had players around them. And then when you have somebody else in place, in Philly's case, you went all the way. I mean, I think the story's still written, but I mean, an argument can be made there. I mean, obviously, we had dead air for 3 sequends.
Yeah, I mean, Foles on there was coached because Foles hasn't done anything since then on there, obviously.
Well, no. Once again, you get back into that whole systems thing.
You get a lightning in a bottle or system-wise with it on there.
Yeah, it's a whole, it's everything.
Again, I like Baltimore. I thought had a great draft wise with it. Getting Patrick Queen, linebacker from LSU, dude, that just solidified that. Getting Dobbins in the second round, crap. I mean, they've already got Mark Ingram. They're going to add Dobbins now on top of that, as well as with that. Getting defensive tackle. I can't even put it. Justin Mabaduke.
Oh, did you call me a dookie?
Dookie.
You called me a dookie.
I called you a Dookie.
I can't believe you called me a
Devin
dookie.
Duvernay.
This is Baltimore?
Yeah, Baltimore's Devin Duvernay out of Texas, the slot receiver. Malik Harrison, another linebacker. Dude, Baltimore just loads up year after year after year wise with it on there. I think Duvernay's going to be great. He's going to have a huge year there with Baltimore there. Definitely going to allow them to be able to pass the little ball a little bit more on there. And then again, Dobbins. I love Dobbins in Baltimore. It just fits them perfectly.
Yeah, good choice. They do things. They draft well. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Once again, Moose, just silly little things. Check out all the home graphics that kind of came with everything. Like, it's all the hell, right, Moose? I can just do neat stuff now.
Yes.
So I hope you guys are digging the production and are happy that we're a little bit
another one
cleaner on everything.
I like Minnesota's draft wise as well. Again, they got the receiver to replace Diggs, Stephon. I mean, Justin Jefferson, the receiver, he's definitely going to be in there. He's going to take over for where Diggs went to. Getting Gladney, the cornerback, because they lost Trey Waynes on there. Ezra Cleveland coming in as tackle-wise. Dude, they just had a plan narrative-wise with it. I think the Lions did too. I mean, the Lions basically says is we're going to take, especially we're going to look at who players we like, but we're going to look at the best player available on here. When basically, and again, Quinn said it. When they looked after Monday night's draft and they saw, the Thursday night's draft, and they saw Swift was still there, like, he's number one on our board.
Well, and that's what you kind of have to do is you got to have a plan for who you want and hope's there, but then who is the very next guy? Because even at number 3, there's no guarantee your guy's going to be there. Because,
but they had a plan on there. Good news is Cleveland already had Mixon, so they weren't taking a quarter on there.
Right.
And again, Washington, I don't know. They weren't taking a running back either wise on there. And he was like, okay, boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
They raced up there with it. And again, same thing getting Okora. All right, good. I'm like, all right, who are they going to take? They're going to take a tackle. And I'm like, I like the pick. I really like that pick.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay. But yeah, there's teams up, but there's a couple teams. The Colts did pretty good getting Pittman. I don't know about the Michael Pittman there. I thought he was taking a little bit high there out of USC. But they do definitely need a bigger body receiver for in there. And then getting Jonathan Taylor in the second round, I thought was a good pick as well. So, and we'll see about Jacob Eason falling there. He might be the heir apparent. We'll see. He's a project-wise on there. But there's a couple teams out there that shit the bed. Green Bay, definitely was one of like. Oh.
Yeah, ugh. Yeah, I agree. So it's one of those things. We'll see how it pans out because it's just been a crazy thing for them as far as being able to scout these guys and get physicals and make decisions. And then the trade scenarios just seemed a little bit different this year. So as the season goes, we'll see how they feel about it.
Definitely out of the ordinary. I thought a crap draft was the Steelers.
Well, and because the Steelers don't usually crap the bed, so maybe they're the smartest cats in the room this year. But
I think
it doesn't feel like it. But
Claypool, they didn't have a first round because they took because they made the trade for Fitzpatrick. So they take Chase Claypool in the second round.
Right.
And I'm thinking, really? I don't know about that. He's probably a third rounder pick on there, late second on there.
Right.
And he comes out of there. Dude, he was basically. I'm looking at it. I'm like, Dobbins is going to Pittsburgh. They need a bell cow running back. I love James Conner. I love the story. Love the guy and everything with it.
Right.
But he's not a bell cow.
Well, and he's a great compliment. And you know how this is now anyway. You need to have multiple backs.
Right.
Period. That's all
he's
there is to it.
He's a smaller back. He can do a lot of things on there. But again, you look at what with it, and then all of a sudden they don't take Dobbins. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell on there? And they take him, and then Alex Highsmith out of Charlotte, whatever. It was just like, ugh.
Yep. No, there's always some questionable drafts because if someone's going to have good ones, others have to have questionables, obviously, right? But it's usually from a Detroit's perspective here, it's always the Lions that are really bad. The Browns tend to draft questionable.
Actually,
other than recently,
Browns
and they
had
did
a
pretty good
good
this year
draft,
as well.
too.
And they did. Yeah, exactly. They did pretty good the last couple years. They've done pretty well. So,
Yeah, they had a
So-
nice draft on there. Oakland. I mean, I saw some nice picks on there. Their second first rounder, Damon Arnett. With that on there, I thought he was
Well,
a second rounder.
aren't they Vegas now?
With Vegas?
Yeah, get it right. Okay.
No, he's gonna be Oakland.
They're not always going to be Oakland. Damn it, they're Vegas.
Arnett was on there, but I do like Bode in the right receiver, and I like Brian Edwards as the receiver wise on there. So I thought those were pretty decent ones. And I love Henry Ruggs. I mean, they're giving them some weapons.
What's up, everybody? Angela, Jay, and what's happening, Roy? How you doing, Big Daddy? Hope that that little one of yours is doing well. Thanks for hanging out with us, talking a little draft and NFL action at the moment.
again,
Feel free to chime in and hang out.
Miami hit everything. I mean, it was like their first.
Miami's the first time they woke up and got it together.
I mean, their first 2 days, you're like, holy. I mean, even honored, even they're honored. But I mean, you're getting obviously you're getting to, all right,
Yes.
we're going to get a tackle to protect Tua. We're going to get Austin Jackson out of USC.
No, there was like actual logic involved in the Miami draft. It was amazing, wasn't it?
The cornerback out of Auburn, which I liked there on it. Getting another offensive lineman, Robert Hunt, the guard out of Louisiana, who's a beast on there. Getting Rokon Davis, defensive tackle. Getting Brandon Jones. I mean, it was just like, oh my God. Getting Curtis Weaver, defensive. Dude, they were just like boom, 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 boom.
Right.
They just had everything lined up.
Yep. No, they had a great plan. They were able to execute it almost to perfection. Like I said, it's the first time in a long time we've seen Miami have a plan. And that's my whole thing with the whole tanking thing. And it's weird, and why I don't know why I just don't think it's Belichickian, because you have to kind of reserve yourself to being bad to get to that point, and that's not his thing. But they were like fine with that because they had a plan, an obvious plan in place, and they were executed it well. It looks good on paper.
Right.
So let's see how it all pans out. It's all on the health of Tua. Like, a lot of people are freaked out about Tua still to this day, and that's why he was available for Miami without issue. But they're either going to be super geniuses, but there's a range of what could happen here. Everybody could pan out, it could look great, and they do well, or you could have one or two guys pan out, and you could just be meh, or this could all blow up. So. Right. It's not like it's an all or nothing kind of thing. They could but we'll see. Like I said, it looked like they had a plan, they had a mission, they were able to execute it the way they wanted. It made sense, and it didn't look like they just tanked. They didn't pull a Philly where they tanked for a process that just never really had a process to it, right? And it looked like they fulfilled the process.
Right. Oh yeah, talking about Philly. Yeah, here Philly. Philly's another one too. I'm like, huh? I mean, Jalen Rager in the first round. I'm like, yeah, I like the kid, but not in the first. Not in the first round. Wow, he's on there with it. When you look at who was still out there available wise with it, I didn't like that. Jalen Hurts in the second round, huh? I mean, it's just like, what the hell? I mean,
no,
freaking Frisco nailed it too. I mean, basically his first night on there is basically, and it was that. Staley came to them before the draft and said, listen, I'm retiring. My body can't handle it. They get freaking Trent Williams for a freaking 5th rounder.
Yeah.
On there. Then they draft Kinlaw because they traded Buckner.
In San Francisco, they're working well over there. They're they last draft. I mean, that defense they drafted.
Right.
I mean,
they just fit all the pieces on there. So you can, even though they didn't draft Trent Williams, they got him in a trade. So boom, there it is. Your tackle wise on there. You got him and McGinty on there. They got also his Brandon Ayuk, receiver out of Arizona State. A downside is they did trade Burita to Miami. And again, there's Miami again getting Matt Burita for a 5th rounder.
Yeah.
And he signed Jordan Howard. I'm not a big hero, but I love Burita. Burita's basically a burner. He gets in the open space, he's gone. They can run if they can use him on there with it. On it, I really like Miami wise this year to make some huge improvement wise on there.
Right. Absolutely, I'm with you. Text line is available for you guys. Also, we're on Facebook and YouTube channels, rocking throughout all our platforms at the same time. Chat room is available and open. Roy is a Lions fan. We're talking the draft. He says Lions actually had a really good draft. He's digging the running back out of New Mexico on top of the DeAndre Swift and pick, and Trent Williams he feels was a steal. So Lions fans, I think in general, are pretty pleased with the draft this year.
Yeah.
And when you compare it to drafts in the past, this is like unbelievable. Like this is.
Oh, there's a couple.
We just won the Super Bowl.
There's a couple Lion fans out there that've been like smoking serious meth on there.
Well, haters will be haters, and haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Haters like hate the DeAndre Swift. Oh my God, I can't believe we got Kerryon. Kerryon Johnson can't stay healthy.
That's the problem. How about this? What if DeAndre Swift pans out and he does the load of the carries? All of a sudden, Kerryon Johnson is effective because he can stay healthy and he's a secondary back, a change of pace guy, whatever. And all of a sudden, they're both good.
Right.
What the fuck is wrong with that?
Basically,
and look at the rest of the league and how they run how they run with the ball.
Yeah. What happens if we were like San Diego with Eckler and Gordon?
Right. Well, I mean, even when you look at Breezy in New Orleans, they were at their best when they had the 2 running back system
when they had
going.
Ingram and Kamara.
Right. When you let Ingram go, it changed everything.
Right.
So,
because Lamont Murray is not Mark Ingram.
Right. And one guy can't carry the load on his own. And we've seen it with Gurley. Gurley's supposed to be this great thing, but he couldn't carry the load in there. Look what they did to that guy.
They beat on it.
They beat the shit out of him. They're going to do it in New York with Barkley if they don't figure something out there.
New England does basically, we don't get, New England does, who's starting running back? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And they keep winning on there. Jesus. I mean, Kansas City, basically they throw guys in there. I mean, just... I like it. I like the fact that he's getting depth. Wander, you got Kerryon when he's healthy is a nice running back wise. He's pretty good on there.
Right.
But I think Swift is is an upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you pick where you pick and how things panned out, I think they did a really good job. Dude, how many times do I have to run back to like 06 and play the audio of me ripping into the Lions and how they fucking do shit, and it's absolutely relevant today. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like we can do it. There's a documented history of me telling you how these fools act, and I have to give credit where credit is due. Not the single best draft in the world, but probably the best draft they've had in a decade. Easy. Maybe 2 or 3. And that's saying, I mean,
you know what? Maybe Dallas needs to let just Jerry pick from the damn yacht because he did his best damn drafting while Jalasky got on the yacht.
Well, hey, why not? I mean, did you see that?
CeeDee Lamb just falls in his lap on her, takes him. It gets Trayvon
Blind
Diggs.
Squirrel gets in that every once in a while, but you're right.
Trayvon Diggs in the second round, gets Gallimore in the third round, the defensive tackle. Gets Richie Robinson under, gets Brandley Ellie in Utah defensive end in the fifth round. Dude drafted nice. Dude, tell him chill back, do a scotch, and just say, hey, bam.
Yep. I mean...
Or they're whispering in his ear, just draft him. Oh, sure.
Maybe. Whatever it was.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah, I was a lot better than what they've done in the past. Zeke Elliott obviously was a good pick, and Dak is kind of just turned into what Dak probably was going to be, so I think they put like high marks on Dak. Even Dak thought he was going to be better than he is, or he's worth more than he is, but I think when you look at their draft, you kind of scratch your head sometimes, and no, they did a good job this time. So whatever method they used, just go with it next time. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, thinking about that stuff. So there you go.
Again, same thing with Arizona on there. They take Simmons in the first round. Thought they should go tackle on there. Okay, they take again a playmaker there, a jackknife they could use everywhere. He's your secret weapon. Then Josh Jones falls to them in the third round.
Wow.
Who was graded as a first round pick.
Right. Yeah.
They get him in the third pick, third round. Getting Leaky Fontu, a defensive tackle there from Utah there. I think a nice draft on it, but again, fucking his crib is just unreal.
Yeah, right.
Bears had a shit draft too.
Oh, of course. Roy was happy. How about that KC, that running back they picked up at the end of the first round? That was a nice pick.
I like the pick on here. I thought Swift is probably a little better, but again, Clyde Edwards on there. I mean, he's a really good back on there. He's probably, I like him more so than Jonathan Taylor did too on there. And again, he's a back that can do a lot of aspect-wise, receiving-wise, everything works perfectly for Casey. Him or Swift on there. I think Swift is just a hair above him, but it's not bad.
No.
You know what?
But look at where they got it.
But then again, it is Andy Reid knows more about football. I mean, probably forgot more about football than I'll ever know on there. And dude, He just won the Super Bowl, so
it's about what you think fits with your team as well. So, if you're talking about like a hair here or hair there, then there might be
all
just
I know is that
a fit
offense
difference.
is going to be scary.
Oh, it is going to be scary. It is going to be scary because that is a heck of an addition for a team like that. So I'm with you on that. So, yeah, the draft was pretty good this year. Like I said, that first day we were sitting in here watching it, it was a little cumbersome, but they got it going, and not too bad. So I'm kind of curious of what everybody's feeling is going to be once the season gets rolling, because you have 1,000,001 different possibilities. Not only did they have all these issues with being able to get medical staff on these guys and to be able to get them in for workouts and to physically poke and prod them. I mean, that's what they want to do with these guys. They want to twist them and tweak them and put them through the shit, and they have not able to do that. And on top of it all, the season, I'm telling you right now, it is getting bumped. It is not going to be a regular NFL season. We're not starting, even if there's no fans. There isn't going to. Well, first. There's not going
to be fans.
There's not going to be fans. Let's just lay the foundation down for that. That there will be 0 fans in the mix, because that's just the way life is going to be for the foreseeable future. So let's just go with the whole premise until our world changes. We're going to go through the entire premise that there will be no sporting events held without fans. So if fan participation is what props up that sport will not be played. So college, i.e. college sports, unless they start paying, which we'll get into that, and i.e. like smaller, independent, like little things, because they're just if they don't have TV deals that pay them the money, it's not going to work. So in football's case, they make more money on television than they do anywhere else. So they will be on. There will be nobody in there, but that schedule is not starting on time. Like they're already making plans to start at the end of October and move this thing, the Super Bowl, into the end of February and have no bye weeks.
Right.
Like, that's the kind of shit that they're proposing already. So I believe that, though they wanted to get this extra seat game in this year, that is not even going to come close. You're going to have a shortened season this year. I believe that they may not. I just don't see how you can look at these cats, like a 12-game season. I don't see how you could look at these cats and say play 16 or 17 games, even if it stays at the 16-game format with no bye weeks, and then shoehorn it into a show. Dude, you're not doing that. There's no fucking way that's gonna fly. So to me, you got to make it a 12-game season. You want to do a bye week in there? Take a weekend off.
Everybody.
The whole fucking league takes one fucking Sunday off.
New Year's weekend.
Bam. They take that fucking
or that weekend between Christmas and New Year's.
Right.
Boom.
You take that one weekend off, and you have no games, and you let everybody get their bye week. You have a shortened season, and now you're not shoehorning this thing. If you have a 12-game season and you still got to shift it over to March a little bit to make it work, in the end with the Super Bowl and everything, or whatever, then so be it. But at least now you're working with a 12-week or a 13-week window instead of trying to jam a 17 or a 16-week window in, and then it's better. It's more feasible, and then these guys aren't getting murdered out there, and then you might be able to make this thing work. I think as well they need to think about regional and not going all over the fucking place and picking 4 fucking stadiums to work out of. Not 4, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I mean,
instead of fucking traveling all over like normal, in a time where you're trying to minimize the risk for these guys. So that's a whole other thing that we're not even talking about. We're just talking about getting our football schedule in and letting these cats go. But the fact of the matter is, if they're even going to play, they're going to be quarantined from their whole world for the entire duration of the season.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the only safe way to do that.
Yeah, this might be the year where you play your guys in your division twice, and that's 6 games right there.
Right.
And then you play, say, the AFC North plays the NFC North, and those are all local games, and that's another 4 games that are relatively close.
Right.
And then you pick basically is one game is like you either in the center or the south and the east,
Right.
and so or
Yes.
something like that. You get one game where you got to travel. And again,
Right.
no London games, no Mexico games this year. Just plain and simple, concentrate on
Right. Yep.
teams here.
So yeah, and that's what you have to do. I mean, there was really no. I just don't see any other way around it. So, and that's only part of this. Okay, the biggest part that nobody's talking about that's going to influence all this stuff more than anything that anybody's ever said is this one single fact. If one of those guys, while they get back to working, if one of those guys gets sick, and God forbid happens to pass away, the fucking legal ramifications to that will shut down all the sports.
Right.
It will shut everything down. It'll be fucking over. And all you guys that want to go to these small wrestling things and you guys want to go to watch minor league baseball and go to check it, dude, none of it will ever fucking happen for a long time.
Right.
If someone gets sick and dies because they didn't take the proper precautions. So like these are all things that are not even thought of. No one's even thinking about it. They're just like, hey, when are we going to shoehorn this in? We got to get everything open. We got to do this and we got to do that. We have yet to prove that we've got this thing under control in a safe situation, and they haven't made any contingency plans like we were just talking when it comes in terms of not traveling around, how you're going to get from here to here. You need to shorten this season. Like they're just like, oh yeah, we'll do 16 weeks, no buys, and we'll bump it over, and then we'll shoehorn it all. No, that's not even a viable option. If that's what you're kicking around, like somebody at the top needs to do their fucking job because the shit ain't fucking working. Hey, fucking Joe and BP and Roy and everybody checking in and hanging out with us. The text line's up too. You can chime in that way or get on the social media, YouTube, Facebook, Studio 57 Radio across the board. We're simulcasting and on all our platforms at the same time. Thanks for hanging out with us, talking sports, getting into this thing. I just don't know how you're going to be able to, how they're going to be able to play that season. It's the same thing. I actually applaud this whole WWE wrestling angle because if they're willing to be the fucking guinea pigs to trying to make something work for sports to get open, and they're willing to do that, everybody should embrace them for that.
Right.
And let's just maybe we'll figure it out because what they're doing what they're laying the groundwork for, whether they succeed or fail, if they succeed, could open the doors for potentially baseball to come back early, sooner than later, and same with other sports. I think to me, basketball is the most viable one to get going quickly because you can just play it in a gym. And all you need is a couple of camera guys, and everybody else that runs the production could be in a truck out back. Right. They don't even have to be in the building. So, you can really separate these guys and do all that. The key is where do you lock everybody down? You literally, without question, are going to have to quarantine everybody until you're done.
Right.
You can't let them risk going in and coming out.
What do you do
unless you have tests that you can do? Boom, boom, boom. And we had Dave, listener Dave, on the show in the chat room a few weeks ago, and he works for the lab that makes those fucking quick tests, and he was talking about all the false negatives that you get because they're not all that accurate at the moment.
They got another one too. It's coming out there too, and they said there's a lot of false positives. So you got to figure out, like the antibody testing. They got to figure something out with it. I mean, if they're going to do the NBA and do it like in Vegas and just lock down, just say, hey, okay, here it is take over one of the damn hotels and say, okay, all you NBA players, you're staying here. You're not going anywhere. Not snaking your girlfriend or that.
Right.
But the kicker is too is if you get the NBA season to continue on and go into the playoffs, what happens if one guy gets sick and gets positive?
Right. I mean,
what are you going to do? Shut it all down?
You're almost going to have to, right?
Right.
I mean, you've seen what happened with when it broke loose on them early the first time.
That started the ball roll, the steamroll. I mean, it was
for everything, the whole damn country, really.
Right.
If you think about it.
That was, again, 6 weeks ago here on Wednesday night.
And how does he feel? All that happened, and then and then his mom passes too, right? Same guy.
That was Townsend.
Oh, that was Townsend. Yeah.
Townsend.
So how you feeling when you have a teammate? That's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just horrible. So that's what I'm saying. Like, just on a level like that, everybody's like, how horrible he felt that. So imagine if it goes that far, because you like you said, you could talk to Towns and ask
well,
him how he feels about
Towns
the
plays
situation.
for Minnesota. He plays. Rudy
But I mean-
Gobert plays for Utah. But it's still the fact
Well,
is,
yeah, it
he's
doesn't matter.
mocking it, and he has been basically a guy that he plays against them or a rival, whatever.
Right.
But it's still part of that Nick group under that mom passed away.
Right.
And he does too. Is he goes, man, I didn't know.
Right.
He-
Yeah.
he-
Right. And how
and he-
that's what I'm
and he-
saying.
he
Like
goes, I
we
felt
know.
like a complete ass.
Yeah, we know how what happened in those situations. We know how everybody felt after all of that, and that isn't even a close to what we're talking about could happen here.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. The ramifications of what would happen from an emotional standpoint to a financial standpoint to a legal standpoint. I mean, there's so many angles here, and that's why we're walking. You can't just willy-nilly, allow cats to start playing and have things, roll on, so to speak. As much as we want it to happen, it just can't. I just don't see how the NFL can do this thing that they're planning, like
Right.
that it just doesn't seem like even a feasible thing to waste your time on. Like, move on. There's got to be a better plan than that. Like, if someone said that to me in a board meeting, I'd be like, okay, that would have been a great plan. Like, 3 months ago when we didn't really know a lot, 2 months ago when it first hit us, like that might sound like a good plan then, but for what we've learned over the last 6 to 8 weeks, that doesn't make any fucking.
Right.
We're not going to get there.
No.
So we need a new fucking plan, right? This is fluid situation. These things should change as it goes, and your plan should change as well. And I just feel like their plan is not ahead of the game; it's kind of behind it. And it's like, no, that ain't gonna fly. So, I like I said, once again, when you start looking at like, Vince McMahon and what he's trying to do and get WWE up and going, if he could figure something out and make the mistakes or make the right choices and can be successful, then maybe that opens the door for some of these other sports. Because I'm going to tell you, some of the things that I've heard, they're just not feasible.
No.
And once again, I still feel the NBA is the easiest one. You can sequester all them cats to a series of hotel rooms. You can play on neutral sites, and you can just roll these games around and do what you need to do with minimal exposure and minimal travel. I really believe the NBA is more equipped for that. They've got smaller rosters, the whole nine.
Right.
So I think if anybody in the four majors are going to roll and lead the way, I think it's going to have to be the NBA. But like I said, pro wrestling, Vince McMahon, they're trying to break the groundwork now, and I ain't mad at them, but. It just seems all of this seems so fucking futile when you're and desperate when you just kind of know.
Right.
The writing's on the wall with this right now. As much as we've learned, we haven't learned a fucking thing.
No, we
right?
haven't learned
And so
anything.
we can't just go out there all willy-nilly. That's the only thing we've learned, is that we don't know shit and that we need to stay safe, right? Like, that's the only thing we've learned.
Right.
So is that we don't know nothing. So that's a damn shame. But that's kind of where we're at right now. 8:50 p.m. Eastern time here, guys. I got a time clock down there at the bottom. If you're looking, kind of help keep you on tune on where we're at in real time, especially when we do like watch-alongs. That'll be helpful. Which we're going to add some of that stuff to the mix now too, because gosh, the software is the bomb diggity. Thanks, JW Belts. Get your belts in leather work, jwbelts.com. But yeah. I don't know how they're gonna get it, man. I want sports to break loose so fucking bad. Like, people are losing their minds. They want it so bad. People are talking. The degenerate gamblers are trying to find stuff to do. Degenerate sports fans are like making up their own games in the back fucking yard, and it's crazy. It is crazy. And people have lost their minds. You've seen social media, right? Like, people have lost their freaking minds and need. And sports is always kind of been it in this country. Sports and other entertainment, and all of that has been shut down. So I know why people are eager and hungry and want that to happen. But man, we can't go backwards. We don't want this to set in to where it's it's worse than what we got now. It's already crazy right now. Like, we don't want to go out and, yay, we went to 3 sporting events and now we're all going to die. You know what I'm saying? And now we're held back even further. We took one step forward to take 82 back. And I just don't want that to happen. So that would be my biggest concern there. 313-307-5340. Our text line is open. Social media is rocking. Facebook is on fire in the chat room. Go hang out with everybody in the chat room and have some football conversations. You'll see most of the conversations were on the draft. How'd you guys do in the draft? We're talking about that and possible openings for sports and what they think they're going to do. We got a couple other things on the table we could get to as well shortly as we get things rolling. I hope you guys are enjoying the uptick in the production. I got a lot of good feedback on Name Texter. Oh, sweet, clear audio. Oh, clear audio. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. The new Facebook update jammed us up with. Okay, so Facebook updated their live to like this video producer thing, and it didn't work with the software that we used to use, which was also outdated and more antiquated to the old system. And so there was no available update for the software, and the new stuff wouldn't take the old stuff. So we became like horrible. Like it was just lagging in every aspect, and now we got that figured out. So I appreciate the positive words, and we'll take them when we can get them. And we're glad to bring you something besides the same old hoobity-bahabity-boo-boo bullshit you're seeing on regular news and social media. And like I said, if you look at my social media feed, it's kind of disgusting, some of the things that people have resorted to for entertainment. And they're losing their minds.
So, and the numbers are in there for the ratings on there. Opening the first night, 15.6 million people watched the first round of the draft. They said the highest they got was 19.6 between 8:30 and 9.
Wow. I'm telling you, there's just a huge hunger for this stuff.
Because it was like nothing. Every geek, the degenerate sports guy, is like, oh my God, I got it. Yeah. 19.6 million people watched the first pick.
I do that. None of that surprises me. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. It does in the fact that
it destroys like WWE.
Oh God, they don't even get a 1 share, right? Like SmackDown and Raw can get like 2 million viewers.
They said viewership was up 37% over last year.
Yes. Well, it's one of those things where there's nothing else, and like the WWE scenario, you get about 2.5 million viewers on your very best shows.
Right.
Your Wednesday night shows get like 750,000. So you, at your best, at your peak, with 3 shows on television, you can get 5 million viewers in an entire week with 3 programs.
Right.
And you can get 5 in one pick.
First 6 million people.
Right.
Team for the entire first draft.
Yeah. So even if you go with an average of like 16 to 18 million people, that is literally 3 to 4 times as much as the WWE can muster on all of its programming everywhere. And it was just on a random Thursday. Yeah, it's just a draft. It's just like, here's a bunch of college kids. Pick ones you like.
Right. The one actually, the thing on there, they caught the little snippets on there was the draftathon. There was like, I guess on NFL.com, the Rich Eisen was hosting.
Oh, okay.
And they got all the, in Zoom where they got all the boxes.
Yeah.
And basically guys were just talking trash.
Sure.
It was hysterical. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
We're doing a show. I'm like, you need to rebroadcast that because I'll watch that.
Yeah. Well, and
there's like, you get like, 12 guys that are sitting there and just talking nothing but trash.
Nice.
Brady's on it. Even freaking Barry Sanders is sitting there talking trash.
That's good stuff.
And again, obviously, he's raising money for COVID-19.
Right.
They said they raised like $4 million just from the first night.
Oh, nice.
Which is
nice. No, that's good. That's good. I mean, if you can do that, and when you're looking at that, that's okay. I'm cool. I'm buying in. This is the problem right now with this COVID-19. Everybody's got a COVID fucking fund. Everybody's got a COVID charity. Right. And we're going to find out now that fucking one of them's legit, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the other thing that's going to piss me off about this scenario. And I won't get into my business stuff on the air because I'm not like that, and we'll talk off the air. But I'll tell you, there's already some grimy shit coming up with COVID stuff. Yeah, and so when you see the NFL and you see these big, they should be donating and trying to get it because their business, depends on, this thing getting gone and this thing being dealt with. So they should be They
Right.
should. They
and
should
what
be
you
doing
get
that.
is you hear more of the grassroots stuff, but I really like the stories of guys.
Oh,
like,
I
listen,
love that stuff. The problem
Hey,
is
I'm
there's
just-
so many fake ones out there. It's like, oh, am I giving money to the right ones?
Right. Well, they ain't even. I mean, some of them that are here locally wise. Listen, here's all our 3D printers. Here we are.
Right.
They're showing them all the masks they're making. There. Thinking,
Right.
all right, listen. All we need is just basically help us pay for some supplies on it. That's all we're asking.
Well, it's one of those things too, and and it's a whole other thing. Our manufacturing infrastructure has been sold off years and years ago from a whole nother president, a whole nother government, and so you have to have a grassroots scenario because you don't have it in the infrastructure. So but I love how people will step up and do that. It's okay. Old school Polish. My girlfriend, old school Polish lady, and that's what the Polacks have done their whole life. Because they're always getting smashed in wars that are getting, overhead. They're like in the middle of all these wars all the time, and so they've never had the infrastructure. So everything's always been a grassroots stuff.
Right.
So like when they're dealing with the COVID, it's a bunch of old biddies sewing masks at home
Right.
and do by the hundreds to try to make this thing work and happen. And people coming by an old shack in the middle of Poland to pick up a truckload of masks that 3 little old ladies made in their house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like that we're getting to that because we have no choice. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And that I guess that's kind of my point and what is so sad about where we're going here. Poland is a very small, financially struggled, war-torn kind of country, its whole existence, and we're a superpower, and we have to resort to the things they do to survive.
Right.
And we shouldn't have to. And I think that's the most disappointing thing. But like you said, when you see those things, it's very heartwarming to see the outpour. And I had a lot of people reach out because the J-Dub Belts company, we have a 3D printer. And so a lot of people reach out to me to do that. And I'm like, well, I don't have a commercial level printer. And you're talking about hours per unit. And like what I would produce it wouldn't be much. You know what I mean? If I could make 3 or 4 screens a day, face shields a day. I mean, because it takes like 2 or 3 hours to make, you know what I mean, or 4 hours, depending on what you're making. It takes time. So like, because I don't have a commercial unit. So, but I was like, shit, I would love to do that. And if it came down to a point where I was gonna make some for some of people I know, so at least I can, take some stress off of some people. And luckily, they were able to get things rolling, and PPE started rolling through here in a manner that's a little bit more acceptable. Once again, we still have a ways to go, but now it's all about testing. And that's what we're going to be dealing with now, and that's nothing I can do on my 3D printer. But I do love the grassroots effort. A lot of different, and it doesn't matter what it is. A lot of different companies retooled to do different things. GM did it for ventilators.
Ford's doing it for masks and the shields. And
there was a company in Livonia that used to make like seat covers. Now they do the wipes. They make the wipes and send them out, and they get dipped in the stuff and put in a thing by another company. But they retooled to make all those, sterilization, sterile wipey things. And so, everybody, you love seeing that. And that's kind of what's going to have to happen with, however we do this comeback in sports. It's going to have to come from almost a grassroots movement. The federal government's going to wash their hands of it here at the end of the week. Or is it today or tomorrow? That thing expires.
Tomorrow.
So they're just going to wash their hands of it and let the states do it. And now you start getting down into a more grassroots kind of a scenario. And how is it going to be? Because, one state's going to do this and one state's going to do that. And all those middle states that didn't do anything are now all flared up. And it's an issue there now. So, like, you can't move around. So I think, once again, basketball is the sport that is most set up to make a comeback. And you could very well, this whole move in the NFL season, to me, I think it's wishful thinking to get the goddamn 12 weeks in.
Right.
I think that's wishful thinking. And I just don't think it's good. I am prepared. I am fully prepared that there will not be an NFL season this year. I am fully prepared that that last season and the playoffs and all that shit for NHL and NBA is all done, and you're not going to be able to have it. I am prepared for the very first sporting event to be something after after we find out if there's a revival in this thing come the fall and in the winter.
Yeah, you're
and
not gonna
then the NBA may come back and do something like that. So for me to look at 2020 and think that we're going to have any live new sports is so far-fetched to me. The more we learn about this thing, the more these weeks and months go by, the more you think about it from a realistic humanitarian aspect, not a hurry, get these guys out so we can make money aspect. I don't know how you do it safely.
No, you're not going to be able to.
So-
honestly, we're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll
Right.
get back and we're definitely get into this subject here as well, about what sports are going to be able to survive and so forth with it. What are the best aspects of the sports coming from here out of the getting started first and everything with it. We'll get into that. Also, we're going to definitely get into the Last Dance
yes.
Jordan miniseries there on ESPN.
Yeah, that was.
And so
We're on episode 4. Only 6 more to go, but we could still have the conversation.
We're still confident. How will people feel about it and what aspect with it on there? And again, there's a resurgence of certain national guys that are just being douches.
Yes.
We are DSR2 Studio 57 Radio.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the world of entertainment with great guests, celebrity interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, we've got the biggest library of underground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you got a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming, where you, the listener, can decide what makes it on the air. And now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's show, That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. Guys, this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for that D-Day and get your Old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Mark for Life is located at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren, and the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-2222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate Tire. With winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Go to Allstate Tire. With new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or give them a call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire, your source for quality new and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 19960 James Cousins. That's the Lodge Service Drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. you need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you're loving life, you need to be in the club.
Are taking over this broadcast for the Ultimate Underground.
Studio 57 Radio Original. You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the Ultimate Underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, or should I say, infamous venues in the D, and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know when and where the Ultimate Underground is going to take over a broadcast. So you need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day, for clues on when and where the next Ultimate Underground may happen. Now, there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the Ultimate Underground live on your home for hip-hop, rock and metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes Cool Edit, Logic Pro, Shure, AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mackie, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop. Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules. That makes Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit Studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com, or call us at 58 420-3390. That's 586-420-3390, or log on to Studio57records.com. And just remember one thing, baby. We get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
All right, Rebels. Oh man, I'm glad you guys are digging the new digs as much as we are. We're having fun here. It's going well. Social media's on fire. You guys are all over it. Success it is. So we got a bunch of cool new stuff coming down the pipe. Tons of new content here to Studio 57 Radio, but it's all about sports here at DSR2, baby. So we're going to get it in. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have some fun. I hope you are ready. Text line is available to you. I'm going to put that up there. It's a 313 number. So call the D and tell us what you think. We want to hear from you. So without further ado, let's do what we do at DSR2 in segment 2. I am Scrappy, and here is your host, Johnny the Moon.
Hey, we are back here for the second hour of DSR2 on a pretty damn nice Wednesday here in the D on it. A little bit rainy, but again, it got up in the upper 60s, so we'll take it because it's not snowing, and I'm tired of that shit. So,
yeah, right.
Again, in case you missed it, we talked a lot about the NFL draft, kind of a recap on here, and also got started talking a little bit about where the NFL goes from here. Are they going to have another, are they going to actually play this season on there, or is it a pipe dream, or what kind of scenario-wise will it be for the NFL this coming up season on it as well? Also, we're going to get into a lot of it is what sports are going to have the best case to get a season going.
Yeah, right.
And basically how we're going to go from here out on that wise with it. Or is 2020 just going to be the year without sports? I mean, we'll see on that.
It feels like that's what we got. We got a year without sports. I'm hoping at the end of the year we can get a little basketball in to kind of cheer everybody up. But I'm not sure, man. I'm fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Text line's open 313-307-5340. Come hang out with us. It is 9:12 Eastern time here on Studio 57 Radio. We've got the ticker down there for you, as well as a timestamp, so that way you can kind of keep track of what's going on here, and without being interrupted and asking questions and wondering what, how long we've been on the air, or what, is there a lag with what's going on in real time with your conversations, which are available on all our social medias at Studio 57 Radio and at Studio 57 on Twitter would be the only exception. So Facebook and YouTube chats are off the chizanes. Thanks everybody for coming hanging out. Angela J, Roy, BP, and Joe and Juan is in the business as well. So everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate ya. And the text line is available as well, and you can help dictate the conversation. We were going NFL draft a little bit earlier, very NFL heavy centric kind of scenario there, but there are other things to be had in the world of sports, Moose. The Last Dance is trickling in one episode at a time.
Yes.
I couldn't do the whole. I just watched all 4 episodes today.
I watched 2 and 2 on there with it. And again, I like it. I mean, it's done really well on there wise with it. It does jump around quite a bit on there for the time frame and that. So
I do like that they at least give you like a timeline visually, like so like you don't like blink and go, wait a minute, now we're back in the 80s again. What the hell happened here?
Yes,
because they did do a lot of that, like Quentin Tarantino-esque timeline shit. But they did with the graphics, they kind of would help you out. They give you like a thing and they go, whoa, we're going back. And it'd be like, yeah. So they help lead you there a little bit. But it's kind of all over the place.
Right.
And it makes me curious because you got a lot of stuff out in 4 episodes. What in the hell's in the last 6 episodes?
It's going to be basically, hopefully they get into a little bit why he left the game. I doubt that's going to happen.
I mean, are they going to talk about that baseball angle?
They've got to talk about it.
How often are they going to talk about the Washington? How much of Washington? After that, is there post basketball career stuff? Are they going to get into his GM-ness and all that other nonsense and ownership part of his career?
I don't think they're going to get into. I think this is just his career with the Bulls. Or their White Sox too. On are still owned by Jerry Reinsdorf on that.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think they're going to get into basically his lackluster career as coming back with the GM/player with the Wizards, and definitely not his ownership of the Bobcat or Hornets.
Right.
They can't keep a name in that, which is
because they can't keep a name. Yeah.
Which has been just terrible. But yeah, I mean, I find it interesting on that. Again, they really threw Jerry Krause under the frickin' bus too. Is like, dude,
that's one of the big things I took out of it. It felt like that they blamed him. He was more the messenger, dude. Did you see the way the owner acts about shit? Like, he is a cold-blooded motherfucker. Like, here, sign this contract and then get the fuck out of my face, and I don't want to see you till this thing is over. Like, don't come back and try to renegotiate. Don't come back here and talk to me again. Take this money and shut up. Right. That was like his whole attitude about everything. Scottie Pippen fucked himself so hard on contracts. That's another thing I took out of this thing. That guy's not very smart when it comes to business. Like, no. Because he took a long-term deal for nothing. 7 years for $17 million or $18 million? Right. That's what? No, yeah. I'll stay home and I'll sell Nikes and make more than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was Scottie Pippen. Like, I know he was, but he was a top 5 player at one point.
Well, yeah, he is rated in as the top 50 of all time.
But I mean, at one point during that run, he was a top 5 or 10 player.
Yes.
Along with Jordan. And he was like 122 in the league.
Right.
Pay scale wise. So, like that.
And also, too, with his contract, too, Jordan didn't help him out, too. Listen, you're going to have to bring. Same thing, too, when Phil's like, well, we're not bringing Phil back. Well, then I'm out of here. I mean, dude, he could have said, listen, bring everybody back. We can win freaking 10. We can win 11. I mean, dude, there's no.
That's the one thing about this part of the story that I'm hoping will get clarified, because they had a coach when he came in, when Jordan got drafted, and he was cool with it. Dougie Fresh came in for 3 years, and he loved him. And then Phil just stepped up from an assistant position, and they fucking and he was fine with Phil. Why all of a sudden, because Phil's gone, you can't do it? This is not your first head coach. This isn't the guy that drafted you. None of that shit. Why the fuck does he all of a sudden say, "Oh, I can't do this without another coach"? When he credits Doug Collins for turning him into the player he turned out to be, as far as his coaches go.
Right. I mean, Collins is good. I mean, because we had him here, that he's good for that, getting them players.
That development. Absolutely.
But he can only get you so far.
Right.
With
I understand that.
But again, Collins was a good coach, especially getting a team out of garbage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And getting them to a certain level.
But at the time, he was unproven. He was a young Jerry Curl little nobody.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not hearing that shit. So to me, what happened that they decided that without Phil, we're not moving on. It has nothing to fucking do with Phil leaving.
Behind the scenes that we're not
bam,
going to do.
bam, fucking bam. That's what's got to be in these other fucking episodes, is why he doesn't like the fucking ownership and general management group. That's why he fucking left after Phil went. It had nothing to do with Phil leaving.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. That I'm here because, now I'm done. You done overcats. You fucking you done dirty with contracts. I don't think you want to build this team, and now you're letting my coach go. I'm done. I just feel that there's got to be more than that. There's no way. He went through 3 different coaches through his time with Chicago. And it wasn't an issue anytime they changed the coach.
Right.
So now all of a sudden he's gone, it's an issue? No. I'm sorry. I think there's more to it than that. We'll find out.
We'll find out on there. There's definitely, and then again, Krause, again.
He got thrown under the bus and then backed over twice.
Well, again.
I mean,
remember.
He's the messenger. You killed the messenger. I'm sorry. And you know what? He picked all these cats. That he drafted like a motherfucker.
Oh,
he can find talent.
He can find talent.
He didn't sign them fucking contracts. He didn't do that shit. He didn't come out and say, "I'm not doing this anymore." The ownership said that.
Chicago ownership over a period of time on too has been real bad.
Who's the fucking owner? Jerry Reinsdorf?
He owned that and the White Sox. And again, White Sox got ownership on there over years on there. Come on, Kaminsky basically treated his players so much like shit. They said, "Fuck it, we're going to throw the damn World Series."
Well, we get into it with every single sport. I'm so glad that Brandon Tierney he's finally said something about Detroit, because we get into it with the Lions all the time. It's all about ownership. When you have a team, when you have an organization and a team that's inept for an extended period of time, it has nothing to do with the players, the coaches. It's ownership. It's always fucking ownership. And I was so glad to hear Brandon Tierney, who is on CBS Sports, Tiki and Tierney. I want to give him a plug, while I can. He worked here in our market, and so he knows. And he's like, "That's the only thing I can think of. It's the same damn ownership from when I was there, and they were doing the same damn shit when I was there 20 years ago, and they're still fucking doing it, and it's got to be the ownership." And it's like, yeah, you've been listening to this podcast for the last 12 fucking years, because that's what we've been saying. And that's the Chicago.
Well, you look at Chicago.
There's a lot of other teams. If you are a Washington Redskins fan, you feel our pain. If you are a New York Knicks fan, you feel our pain. If you are a Chicago's fan, you feel our pain, because those ownerships are all fucking horse shit.
It was. I mean, again, we had,
and that's what blew up your fucking. You would have had a Patriots-like basketball dynasty over there if your ownership would have gotten it out of its own motherfucking way.
Right. You would have been like the Celtics.
Oh yeah.
What basically they win like 10 or 9 out of or 11 out of 12 years in that.
Right.
With that, but yeah, right. I mean, again, the Blackhawks ownership was a garbage. They won't even show games on TV.
Right. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, ineptness, and it didn't matter who the ownership of especially the Cubbies, because they went from different ownership to ownership on, and that team was just fucking cursed.
Right.
Until something happened where they exercised the voodoo doll or something, and Joe Madden was like the savior. He was like Father Damien from The Exorcist. The power of Christ compels me. And then they win a World Series in that. But it was but again, I like the fact, and again too, national. And again, it's like Jordan out there bitching and whining about, they didn't shake our hands on there with the Pistons and blah, blah, blah.
So
they didn't want to even
They were bad guys.
anything.
They were the bad boys, remember?
They were the bad boys.
What'd you
Didn't even want to
expect?
hear from what Isaiah says. Listen, nobody shook our hands. When we beat Boston, they didn't shake our hands either.
Right.
That's the way it was.
Yep. Yeah, it was grimy. It was dirty. And guess what? I won't even justify it as being right. Like, shake their fucking hands. You shook their hands when you won last year. You didn't shake their hands this year when you lost. So I'm with you on the right and wrong scenario. But they were the fucking bad boys. We fucking hung our hats on that shit as fans. They fucking lived by that shit. They thrived off that shit, and they embraced that shit. Don't be a pussy now. Don't be a pussy now.
No, you know what? None of them are. They're like going, so we're still in his head? They still bitch about it?
Yes.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody.
Good.
Even John says,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes, no, you want it? He goes, but now I look at it and
Yeah.
we're still in his head and he's still big.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. The fucking 30 fucking years later, you're still in his head, and he's considered the GOAT.
Right.
Oh, I love every minute of that. Bill Lambert's got to be doing little dances right now.
Bill's the man.
I love Bill. He embraced all that shit. He's like, yeah, we're the bad boys. Fuck you. Like, I don't care. You don't like it? Kiss my ass. I'll throw one of them crazy sissy punches at you, but I'll hit you at least.
Yeah.
Like when he popped what's his name right in the mouth, punched him like this, like a hammer fist straight forward, like a 9-year-old would throw at you when he's mad. He punch you in the dick.
But again, all the national guys, they're bad. I'm like, yeah, we were the bad boys under, but you know what? They had a lot of freaking talent on that team too.
Yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt
they
about
had
it.
on there, but
All the
you
way
know
down
what?
to Vinny Johnson.
We'll win whatever which way we can win. But you know what? We can also play basketball too. Why? They were very skill set on there too. They were the deepest team in the NBA.
Right.
Wasn't even close. And yeah, do you want to play on it? Good. We're gonna beat the hell out of you. You're gonna earn every freaking basket you make.
Yep. Yeah.
So don't give me this crap either about LeBron will score 60. Dude would have been on his ass.
Oh, he wouldn't be able. Yeah.
He wouldn't know what to do. Woo! They beat me up on there.
He played in an era where there wasn't even really hand checking.
No, there was.
So
that's the reason why Jordan won, because they changed the freaking rules, the hand check and everything.
Right.
Like
Yeah. When they took away hand checking, that's when everything changed. And LeBron is in an era. It's the same thing. Do you think Steph Curry would be what he is now?
Oh, no.
In a league where there was hand checking?
No.
Like that little dude, they would just smack him around.
Right.
Like you can get hot, motherfucker. Every time you go to raise your hand with that ball, I'm just gonna pop you one.
Right.
It's the same thing. They with Jordan. Once he was in the air, you were done for. So anytime before he elevates, you hit him.
Right. You drive him outside.
And you're gonna get a foul anyway. So make sure it's worth it.
Right. We got the depth.
And that's all it was to it. If you're gonna get the foul for just reaching in and hitting him, then just fucking knock him down.
That's it.
And why not? Why sit there and let him get the and one every time?
And again, the fact that he's all pissy about it, so he makes sure that Zeke doesn't get on the dream team too. That was.
Well, that just that to me. Now the whole not shaking hands and them being in his head, even to this day, I can get it because that was the bugaboo he couldn't get past, and that was his. That's his demon. You know, that's the Pistons were his basketball demon. And let's be fucking real about this. In real time, that was the whole league's fucking demon. The NBA, they motherfucking did not want the Pistons in the mix at all.
Right.
They didn't like the way they played. They didn't like the Bad Boys at all. They made the storybook and they held it for Larry Bird and they made it beautiful. They did it for Magic Johnson. They made it beautiful and they were ready to do it for Michael Jordan. And the fucking Pistons fucked that up.
Yeah, Pistons fucked that.
Pistons fucked that up.
Pistons should have won 3 in a row.
Oh yeah, maybe 4. And the whole damn league is fucking still chapped about the 2 that they did win. So to me, man, just embrace that shit. Like, to me, that's why I love the whole bad boy mentality. And I think it's a bigger tale of him keeping Zeke off. That's more of a scumbag move, because if you were, and it makes him a hypocrite in this manner, right? He always said that he was the most competitive guy. And if you are the most competitive guy and you want to win, you want the best, and you're putting together a team of the best guys, you want the best guys.
Right.
And you didn't take the best guys.
No.
You took the guys that made you look like the best guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because Zeke at that time was the best point guard in the game.
Yes. Absolutely. One of the toughest guys in the NBA.
Right. I mean,
and people don't give him that credit.
Till Iverson he was pound for pound the best small man in the game.
Yeah, yep, definitely the toughest small guy. Yeah, absolutely, all of that. He had he had every aspect of his game was tight.
Right.
I mean, even for a little guy, he rebounded well.
Right.
So I mean, he had leadership qualities. He was a fucking murderer. He was an assassin. He would go out, he would kiss Magic Johnson on the face, and then rip his heart out and show it to him.
Exactly.
And I mean, and people don't give him credit for that kind of shit. Like, everybody sleeps on Zeke for that shit.
Right. He was the 4th best player of the entire decade.
Right. So to me, it's one of those things where that shows he can be mad and bitter about this. He can be bitter about that. This handshake. He can be bitter. They can still be this. All that stuff to me is acceptable, understandable, and I see why. But to that whole Zeke thing off the Dream Team, that is some petty shit that I'll never fucking get. That's the one thing the GOAT did that I could never justify or ever get behind. It just sucked in that respect. So I don't know. Hopefully, like I said, there's a lot more to this thing anyway.
We also learned too is Dennis Rodman's a bad man.
I love the story about his vacation
in Vegas.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then they were going to punish him with some cardio work, and he outran the whole fucking team through the gym. And they're like, "What the fuck? I didn't take a vacation." They were mad they had to do it, and then they couldn't keep up with him.
Well, he got his cardio in all right.
Yeah, he did with Carmen Electra. Fucking A.
She answers the door, start digging. I mean, all I got is man Jordan going, God damn.
You know what I'm saying? God, what a lucky motherfucker.
He a player. He a baller.
And have you seen Dennis Rodman? Oh my God, he looks. I mean, he looks like a Mr. Potato Head had all the holes put in the wrong fucking places. And when you put all his parts on, they're all fucking. Because he is not an attractive guy. I love Dennis. I loved him when he was here. I met him at an AC/DC concert at the Palace. He was great to us. He's a fucking really cool guy. But fuck, is he an ugly motherfucker? And
that was even before
all the slayed some pussy. Sorry, guys.
And that was even before all the earrings,
right? Yeah,
lip rings. And
fucking from Madonna to Carmen Electra, he slayed some fucking pussy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. He did. He slayed in a dress.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Fuck, man. Yeah, I got to meet him. We went to an AC/DC concert, and we had a suite 3 doors down from his suite. And we used to go all the time because the suite we had access to was like an owned suite like his is, like a leased one where you have it for an extended period of time. And so we were going up the back service elevator together. And me and my buddy are like giggling little teenagers, like, is that who I think it is? He's like, hey guys, and he chatted with us, and and he went one way and we went that way, and our doors weren't that far apart. And we're like, so we didn't get a lot of time, but we got to kick it with Dennis at an AC/DC concert at like 13 years old. He didn't give us a lot of time, but he didn't brush us off
No.
And I was like, man. I know he's a quirky, goofy, weird guy, and everybody's like, "What in the?" But he'll always be a cool cat to me.
Yeah, that's what this is. If you got, especially as they says, is once you got that trusted with it on there. He had him on there. He was like, he treated you well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Carmen Electra is still at what, age 48? Damn.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, smoking. Well, it's like, these women, I don't know what they do. They sell their soul to the devil. I mean, Jennifer Aniston, Jenny from the Block.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all 50s, 50 plus and smoking.
Yeah.
Halle Berry, 50
Yeah.
plus and smoking. Everybody, there's a lot. Google 50 plus hot celebrities, and you're going to find a shit ton of them. You
Yes.
didn't even know they were over 50. You're like, my God. Catherine Zeta-Jones, Selma Hayek, I think, is up there.
Yeah. Selma Hayek.
I mean, and they're all fucking smoking. Like, I don't know what's in the water. I don't know what doctors they have, what kind of genetics they got going on. Whatever they did, I want a piece of that action. And I'm not like in the way that all the other guys want, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, that too, I guess. But I'm just saying, man, how do they do that? How do they do that? Jennifer Aniston is one that blows me away. When you see her with a six-pack at 52 years old or 51 years old or whatever she is and looks that fucking good. And then, even back in the day, Michelle Pfeiffer was hot for like 40 fucking years. She was hot forever. Like, it's like, are you ever going to get a wrinkle on your face or get older or anything?
Yeah.
You're like 50 plus and doing the Catwoman shit and like hotter than shit.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? How does this happen? It's greatness, but I don't understand.
Genetics.
I love it. I want some of that. Can we IV that shit and put it in my veins instead of bleach?
But yeah, I mean, it's been great to watch on, and again, I definitely recommend anybody that's
Yeah. I mean, especially if you are jonesing. Okay, if you're jonesing for sports, this is where it's at. It's really the hottest thing going right now, and you should enjoy it. So, having a conversation earlier today, and my girlfriend's got a coworker that was like, "Your man's into sports. What's he watching? What's he's doing? I'm losing my mind." And I said, and she asked while he was like literally like on the phone, like, "What are you watching? Hey babe, what are you watching now with no sports on?" I go, "Well, right now it's the Last Dance, the Jordan thing, and the basketball thing." And he goes, "Oh, well, no, I don't want to watch that." Like, well, I thought you said you were into sports. He's like, "Well, I like football and NASCAR." And I'm like, "Well, no, you're not into sports. You like redneck shit.
Right.
Go get a Jeep. Watch some reruns of the pro bull riding bullshit and get the fuck on.
Right.
Watch the virtual NASCAR shit and listen to fucking Kyle, what's his name, drop N-bombs on national television. Fucking retard. Fucking break. You don't like sports?" I started ripping off all kinds of stuff. He's like, "Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that." He basically only likes NASCAR and NFL.
I hate NASCAR.
NASCAR is not even a fucking sport, and fuck NFL ain't gonna be around for a minute, dude.
The one thing is, somebody was on there, store in there, and they're looking at going by the M&Ms on there, and they're like, going to M&Ms. He goes, "Yeah, look at the M&Ms." He goes, "Fuck you, Cowboys."
Yeah.
And he flips off the back.
M&M's, yeah. God.
But you got, I mean, dude, when they announced, "Oh, we're going to move it up from June to April," I'm like, "Oh God, yes."
Yeah, right. Well, we talked
That was
about it.
one of the smartest things.
Yeah.
Again, ESPN did well.
Well, they might have. I think they were listening to the podcast that week because we talked about it, and then 5 days later, the fucker they bumped it up.
Bastards.
Well, we talked about it. If they
How
had
many
it,
times we talk about something and
and
somebody
then they
else
fucking do it. I know. But that's all right now because we're on 1,000,001 platforms, so they cannot deny the fact that we said it. We've got all these, timestamps and all this dated stuff. Now that the way we're doing it, it's all out there for everybody to consume. So we cannot be denied.
Yes.
It can't. So if I ever have another Scrappy Damas moment, now's the time.
So
No.
yeah, we got that. But they do, as we say about what sports are going to continue on. I mean, quite a few athletic directors are starting to come out like, "Dude, we're not having football."
Okay, collegiate sports because they make
their money
they make their money on people physically being in there, and that is one reason, and that's the reason they'll tell you why they can't do it. But the real reason is how the fuck do you put free labor at fucking risk of death for you to make money?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you had a TV deal, even if you could pull out that money, which you can't really in collegiate, maybe a couple of
the optics of that is just going
I mean, it would be fucking murder. So you just can't do that. So you can forget collegiate sports for the near future, for 2020.
Yeah.
For 2020,
At least
collegiate
20
sports are not a
You may
conversation.
not get sports in college till a year from now.
Yeah, I would say at least. And I'm going to tell you this. This is the reality that we're in, and I know no one wants to hear this, but this is the reality that you will not have any collegiate sports this year at all, and probably not early next year. Like you said, maybe spring or something like that. They might start thinking of something summer, maybe, I don't know. But and then even in the pro sports world, I don't believe that you'll get new live content until you may not get it at all this year. It may not be till early 2021. I just think that's more and more realistic. We heard all that stuff early on, and we're like, no way. We're only 2 months into the year. How could that possibly be? But it's not just the bump in the move of the physical things because of the virus. The logistics of fucking doing all this shit and making all this stuff happen is not something that just you snap your fingers and it happens. Like, there's a lot of things that go into logistically putting and doing and getting and having things happen. So to think that you're going to come up with a plan that works, then implement it and get it in place and work it all within a couple of months to me, or a few months to me, just doesn't seem feasible. Because that's what you're talking about here.
Right.
Essentially, if you're going to get any sports in this year, you have to come up with a plan of attack that is definite. You have to come up with a way you're going to do it, and then you have to execute all of that stuff within the next 3 months. If you don't do that, then you're not going to get anything in place for this year. How are you? How are you going to be able to do that and then like get it out there?
Right. And
Because you're talking about TV contracts. You're talking about a lot of different things that go into making this thing even profitable enough to be worthwhile. We haven't even, and this is not talking about the things we talked about earlier when it comes to the liability if somebody gets sick or worse. Whether it's a staff member that holds a fucking camera or an athlete.
Right.
It doesn't matter. So, like, I don't know how you work all that stuff out and work all those logistics out within a few months from now when we still don't have all the information, and then be able to implement it and start getting it rolling so that it does happen before this year is over. How does that happen? How does anybody look at that and say that that's even possible?
No, I don't think you can on there. I mean, again,
I mean, I know how hard it is just to put together a fucking podcast. You got to put together all this fucking shit for a fucking...
a league.
You know what I mean? A league? Give me a break.
Well, like baseball's now talking about a 100-game season, which I still don't think that would ever.
No.
But again, going with 3 divisions of 10 teams each on that. Here it is. The example is the East would be the Yankees. There'd be no National American League. Everybody plays the DH. There we go. We get the DH into the National League.
Right.
Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Nationals, Orioles, Phillies, Pirates, Blue Jays, Rays, and Marlins are in the East. Central are Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, Cardinals, Royals, Reds, Indians, Twins, Braves, Tigers. West are the Dodgers, Angels, Giants, A's, Padres, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Rangers, Astros, and Mariners. But where are you going to play? I mean,
Right.
you can't go from city to city. I mean, obviously no fans would play there. Are you going to basically say, okay, because there's way too many teams, because, I mean, there's basically, okay, unless they all go to Arizona.
Right.
But again, what are you going to do? Play these games at midnight?
Yeah, you can't play in the Arizona. I mean, you're better. Florida seems like more of an option because everybody's fucking opening up there in that area. So it feels like that seems like the region that they're gonna
There's only
do
so
stuff.
many again because Florida's only got I think again there's only so many actual teams. They have minor league teams and spring training games on there. More than half the teams played now their spring training in Arizona.
Right, but
They got these
Arizona's
huge
not
complex. But there's no way you can play that
Right.
in the summertime in Arizona.
And it's not even if you can find ways around that and play it inside a facility somewhere, you still you have issues there with how that state is operating,
Right.
as opposed to Florida where they're just letting everybody do whatever. Georgia's opened up, so you have a neighboring state where you can kind of hotel everybody if you need to.
Right.
So it just feels like that southern region is going to be where it's most active. They got a fucking $18.5 million endowment from the fucking WWE for the state of Florida to get shit open and moving there. So I believe that is going to be the avenue that baseball takes. I don't know how, like you said, there's no logistical way that you can do Arizona because you literally only have a few hour window where you can play a game.
Right.
So you can't do that.
You have to play it like at 10 o'clock at night, and there's no way. I mean, people, at 10 o'clock their time. So that means what? Game starts at 1 in the morning here.
Well, you can't even do it that because then the bottom drops out.
Right.
If that goes into extra innings, they're going to be in sweaters.
Right.
So you can't do that either.
So I mean, I don't think baseball is going to happen this year on here.
No,
Why-
especially not 100 games. You'd be
No
lucky
way.
to get fucking 80 games in.
I'm thinking the max is 75, 70 to 80.
Yeah, see, I'm a 60 to 80 guy. If you're lucky, you're
60
being
would be
optimistic.
perfect.
If you're optimistic and you're thinking that way, I agree. I like the 60 better. But like I said, if you're trying to be optimistic, a 60 or 80 game season, depending on the information that we draw in. But once again, how the hell are you going to fucking do that? If you go, it is now May. It's May, okay? So May. You're not even going to be out in May. So let's say they open shit up in June or July. How are you getting those games in? From what I've seen, the only states that have laid out anything that is even considering opening an arena that can hold a sport doesn't have anything starting until after 4th of July.
Right.
So if you don't start until late July, and let's say you spend all this time now and you get your plan in place and you got your schedule figured out, let's say you can do that. I don't think you can. I don't think from May and June, I don't think in 2 months you're going to have everything figured out logistically. I don't think you're going to have the testing that you need. I don't think you're going to have I don't think you're going to have an area set aside where you can essentially have an entire league quarantined. I don't think you're going to have all those things that you need to safely operate. I don't know how you're going to logistically get all that stuff in before July if they start after 4th of July weekend. So if they do that, and they do start right after 4th of July weekend, July, August, September, October, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you playing a game every day?
Right.
Are you doing double headers? Like,
Are you doing those?
how are they going to play games every day and then play double headers?
Again, what are you gonna
and
do
that's just to get a 60 game season in. You're talking about a 100 game season? Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense.
Too, the minor league shut down.
Right.
So
And you've had no spring training. You still got to get that worked in. There's no way you're starting a season cold. There's no fucking way you can do that.
There's no way you can start it cold on there. There's no way, basically, is what are you going to do if guys get hurt? Okay, well, are we going to just take the guys that are on there? Because you're not going to take a guy
just take a guy off the couch. What else can you do?
Right.
All you can do is take a guy off the
It
couch.
ain't happening this year.
I mean, come on, let's be realistic about this thing, people. We are here to bring you positivity, but this is the realest podcast ever. We're not going to fucking bullshit you. Like, let's use a little common sense here. None of that shit's going to happen. We just laid out this whole scenario on how they could shoehorn a 60-game season in if they did all this crazy shit in, and we never even considered a spring training aspect to it.
Or minor league aspect.
Or having a minor league, having anybody to draw from. Right. None of that has even been thought of or even spoke upon. So how the fuck is this going to happen this year? The answer is, it ain't.
Right.
It ain't. It ain't happening this year.
I mean, the NHL now is even saying we're not coming back till at least December at the earliest.
Well, yeah, and I don't think that they can do that either.
And they said they're going to do it with fans. Well, there's no way that's going to happen.
You know, I think this is what you're going to get. If you are lucky, you will get a 20 to 30 game season out of both the NHL and the NBA. And they're going to be in small arenas with nobody in them.
Right.
And in minimal staff. Most everybody that runs the production will be outside the building because they'll be in a truck, a trailer. And so that will be the single most optimistic view you can have on having live sports. Right. If you think you will get any more than that, you know what? Shit in one hand and fucking wish in the other and tell me which one fills up first.
Right.
Because I'm going to tell you which one's going to happen because it's not. Even what we're saying, laying that down, having a 30-game season.
Starting in January of next year.
Starting in January. I still just don't, I don't even know if that's real. But you know what? If they could do it, have an experiment, see it, and be able to see what we're going to do going forward, and then be able to start in 2021, getting things back to whatever will be the new norm, because we had this little mini experiment with 2 leagues having a quarter of a season, then I'm cool with that. Like, I'm fine with that. What else can I say? I haven't left my fucking house in 8 weeks. Like, so I have to be cool with it.
Right.
Look what the world we're fucking living in. You know, I mean, drive down Woodward, down the center of Detroit. Drive down fucking, you know, the center, right down fucking Manhattan Boulevard in New York. It's a fucking ghost town.
Right.
And two of the more, you know, but you go to Chicago. I mean, there's nobody anywhere when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, like, we're not in a position to put a bunch of people in one place together, even no fans. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of players and personnel when you start looking at these teams and putting these leagues together. So, and then what? Like I said, you still have the logistics of quarantining these cats, and then they're gonna have to be quarantined extended beyond that point because we know about this virus that it can go. You know, you can carry it and be asymptomatic.
I mean,
there's just so much.
Right
that
now,
goes in there.
there's nothing that can happen. I wouldn't do anything on there till we get things under control here. See what happens through the summer and see what happens in the fall.
What's contingent on all of this? On all of this is the availability and accuracy of testing.
And we're not even getting close to that.
Yep, none of that. So that's where it gets scary. So, I mean, you know, it's just one.
Well,
of
you know
them
what's
things.
scary too is Vince McMahon getting sued by everybody.
Oh, dude, you know what? It's only scary for Vince because we all fucking saw it coming.
You called it.
I've been calling this for months, man. I've been telling you this shit's gonna happen, and it's going down. And I looked at all the things that they put in the lawsuits. There's like about a half a dozen at least class action lawsuits for a bunch of different reasons. There's probably a dozen or more different charges in these different affidavits, and they all stem from the thing. They're all the shit I told you was going to happen, almost verbatim. Selling stocks and funneling money and misleading people and bad business practices and all that shit. And it's going to get fucking ugly. Now, I was right about this, and I told you all about that months and months ago. But during that conversation, do you remember me telling you about the Saudi Arabia deal?
Yes.
So now you know why this is a scary situation, because that Saudi Arabia deal is real. Now the rumors and innuendo that's out there is that ESPN and Fox want in on buying the company. And this is where it's going to get super fucking tricky, because I don't know what kind of deal or contract or the legalities of said binding contract when you're dealing with a country overseas like that. But Vince McMahon can make any deal he wants with a fucking on Saudi soil.
Right.
But he can't enforce it.
Right.
He can't. Thusly, they made a contract, and the Saudis owed him millions of dollars and wouldn't pay. And there was nothing he could do but hijack their pay-per-view and not air it and delayed it.
Right.
And they finally put the money in his account, and then he aired it, and then they held up their fucking talent from leaving the country. And now they're saying, oh, that didn't happen, and now that's all going to come out to be true because they lied about it, and that's part of the class action lawsuit. So you're going to find all this stuff out. It's all going to come out. Vince is in a fucking pickle here, man. He's in a big fucking pickle, and with all this stuff going on with the COVID, he's literally in a oh fuck it phase. Like, he's really getting super close to a fuck it phase.
Right.
And so I don't know what he's going to do. But this is what I think. If I had to think that if I had to make a prediction, this would be the prediction I'm going to make. The streaming service, the pay-per-views, and his library is the only asset that he has. It's the only assets that company has is the future pay-per-views, the current streaming service, and the past, content that they have. Their library is huge. They own the rights to everything now. They will sparse all that stuff up between ESPN, Fox, and Disney. And they will essentially liquidate this whole thing. But the company, the wrestling promotion, will remain a WWE, a Vince McMahon thing. and then it will have to probably. There might be a point in time where it is no longer a publicly traded company because of all this,
Right.
And so then they can get back to their more carny roots, which is probably better for him anyway. And then you will see it be completely different. In other words, Vince McMahon will essentially put on the shows, but won't own the rights to the products anymore and things like that. Maybe the merchandise because of the guys and all that. So it's going to change the entire model. And you getting pay-per-views on a streaming service is not going to be an issue. It's not going to happen anymore. The days of free pay-per-views are gone. You'll be paying now. If you want a pay-per-view, you'll be paying $60 for that motherfucker. That's what's going to happen. So all you guys that got the network and are happy for your $10 a month and you get the free pay-per-views, that is goodbye.
Yep.
Then your streaming service for anything that they're doing currently, so that if you don't watch it on TV or you don't have cable but you want to catch all of their current product, that'll be what's on their streaming service. So all the backstage stuff, all the interview stuff, all this goofy little quirky shows, and then all of their live programming that they put on a weekly basis, all that will be available to you on the streaming network, and that price will go up, even though the content that's on there will go down, because not only do you have that now, you have the pay-per-views and you have the archives, the library, and then that library won't be there anymore because that will be sold off, and that will be sparsed off between other companies who will use that to play it when they feel like it and put it on their site, so that you'll have to pay for their streaming service to have access to that library, which will be broken up and spread out between other entities. So this is what's going to happen for you in your wrestling world. Your WWE, who took and bought up everything, and you were so mad that they bought everything, and they put it all in this nice, neat place for you for a real low dollar. That's all fucking going away. There's not going to be jack shit on that thing anymore, and the price is going to go up. All your pay-per-views are going to go back to higher than they ever were before, and then that nice library they had in one little place for you at one little price will be spread out all over the place at a bunch of different little prices and nickel and dime the fuck out of you if you want to see it. And your life as a wrestling fan will 100% change forever.
That's right. You're gonna have to sign up for ESPN Plus for $5 a month.
Right. You'll have to sign up for, and you still won't get it all. You'll only get a portion of it, because I do believe that they will take the deals that they can and do whatever. So like you'll get ESPN Plus because you'll get the pay-per-views. It'll be WWE, UFC, all those pay-per-views will be on that streaming service. So you'll have to pay for that. Then if you want to get all the libraries, all the archive stuff, that's going to go between Fox and Disney.
Right.
So then you're going to have to get Disney Plus, or then you have to get Fox streaming to get all the archive shit. It's going to be divvied up based on who wants to buy what. And then if you want to watch all the live stuff and all the backstage stuff and all the things that they do, and you don't have cable, or it's on channels that your carrier doesn't have, then in order to get all of that content in one place, you'll have to pay for the WWE streaming service, which will be in the end run by Disney any fucking way.
Right. Because Disney owns everything.
Right. So it's like, go right the fuck ahead, man. So when it's all said and done, you bitched about your $250 cable bill, and you'll have a $300 fucking Wi-Fi bill, because you'll have to pay for all your streaming services between your Netflix and everything else to be able to get all the shows that you want to fucking watch. You will either have to pay the crazy cable bill or an internet bill that will be the same or more. There you go.
There we go.
I just summed up the entire. I just saddened everybody.
Well,
I ruined everybody's day.
Here's a nice little story here to we'll go on.
Yeah, we need to leave on a positive note, because I just pissed in everybody's Cheerios.
A positive note, and it's kind of an NFL and WWE all combined, or also WCW back in the day. Is Baltimore Ravens signed undrafted rookie from Kennesaw State, fullback Bronson Recksteiner, the son of
Rick Steiner.
Rick Steiner.
Yep, and he is built like a brick shithouse. I mean, this fucking guy is cut. He is a beast, man. He's built like his daddy. He looks like his daddy and his uncle had a fucking their own love child. He looks like Scott and Rick put together, don't he?
Yes.
If you look at him, I seen like it was like a combine video of him running, or something like that. It might have been a pro day or something.
He ran rushed for 909 yards, averaging 8 yards a carry.
I mean, that's what you want to look at, is what he's averaging per carry and what kind of defenses he was playing against doing it. But yeah, he's built like a fucking tank, man. And I'll tell you what, if he gets lost in the sea of players, you know he'll be in the WWE or wherever he wants to be, because that is something that he is interested in, and he's definitely got the look. So I can't believe that he doesn't have the athleticism and the background. So he's got to have it all there. So he's one of those guys that, yeah.
There's no doubt that he's a Steiner, man. You look
at the way he's built. He's built just like him.
Yeah.
And then if it looks like Rick Steiner's body with like a morph of Scott Steiner's head. It's just so weird the way he looks. He looks just like he's a fucking Steiner, no doubt about it. Like, if I didn't know that, if I just saw him in the street, I'd be like, dude, you could fucking pass for a Steiner. I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's my dad and my uncle. Well, yeah, no shit, motherfucker.
Fucking, it's just jacked.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He looks like Scotty, man, before he got all big Papa Pump.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, he looks like Scott Steiner before, just like in the early ages, when he first dyed his hair and he first went, just like that, before he got all roided out.
Yep.
Oh, man.
God, I love the Steiners.
I did, too. I mean, they just go in there with the Michigan singlets, and Rick wore the headgear.
I think Rick actually wrestled at Michigan.
Yeah, he did. They both went to Michigan.
Yeah,
they both went to Michigan. Rick was a fucking All-American wrestler at Michigan. Yep. I think Scott played football and wrestled as well, I want to say. Or maybe it was Rick that played football and wrestled. I can't remember. But they both went to Michigan, yeah. And they kept that gimmick going into pro wrestling, which I love. There's another guy doing that now coming up in the WWE system, and he wears his singlet and his gear from college. They just kind of changed it a little bit for WWE, so it didn't have the college thing. Because, like, fucking Steiner's wrestled, his shit said, like, when I first saw Rick Steiner, it's Michigan. He wore his Michigan singlet in the fucking ring.
Right.
And, for WC or NWA, I think it was.
Yeah.
At the time. And so, yeah, fucking. This guy's the same way, except for the school logo has been replaced with like his name or something, but it's the singlet from like Iowa.
Yeah, because they had that. The Steiners wore their Michigan stuff, and then of course WWE or they were still WWF stole the whole. Remember they coming out with the Varsity Men, which was Mike Rotundo. Syracuse.
Well, you have to understand that that's what WWE did, right? When NWA and WCW brought the Road Warriors in, they had to do Demolition.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that's kind of close, but it's not really. You put the fucking Repo Man in fucking, bondage gear, and you call them the fucking Demolition.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay. But they've always done that. They've always copied what it is Vince doesn't watch anything.
No.
He doesn't watch TV. He doesn't watch the fucking news. He doesn't watch the other product that's out there that's the competition. He has no fucking clue what's going on in pop culture or nothing. So when you pitch him an idea that is a blatant ripoff of something else, he thinks it's the greatest thing ever because it's the first he's ever fucking hearing of such a thing.
Right.
Even though we all know that this is a stolen gimmick. And so that's why you see that in the WWE so much, where all their gimmicks are direct ripoffs of something, almost like they're spoofing shit on purpose. And they kind of are, and Vince just doesn't have a clue. It's like, did you know in the Attitude Era, you had the Godfather who walked around, openly talked about smoking blunts and smacking hoes, and Vince McMahon had no idea he was a pimp and he was talking about smoking weed. He had no idea that the gimmick was he was a pimp.
Yeah.
And that he smoked, and that blunts were weed. He had no idea. Not a fucking clue. That's why that shit passed. Because he never even knew. He's like, oh, what's blunts? They're like, oh, cigars. He's like, oh, so he smokes cigars and he's got women around him? Okay. No, he's a pimp. He sells pussy and smokes weed. And Vince didn't get that. And that's why that shit flew.
Right.
And that's how, that's how much of a bubble he lives in. So, yeah, that shit's fucking... I love that shit. But now why not? Be superheroes, right? That's the whole gimmick. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Just be blatant about it. Kayfabe's been dead anyway. Have fun with it. Hurricane did. He had, Hurricane Helms. Fucking Shane Helms. He changed his gimmick to Hurricane Helms, and he was like... He had a mask on and a cape, and he came out and was like... Da-da-da! And he just owned that shit. So... But... We'll get some sports action. It's just be patient, guys. It's coming. We got Ultimate Tag or some bullshit coming soon. That's what you get, motherfuckers. No, sports will come. Just be patient. Enjoy what we got. Come hang out with us. We'll do goofy podcasts. We'll talk about other shit too. We'll do sports stuff. Maybe we'll relive some cool things annals of sports history. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have some fun with it. But come hang out with us. Don't be afraid. Spread the word. Obviously, you guys were pleased. I got some positive feedback here with the audio, video setup, and all the nifty new graphics and what we did and all that. So we're going to keep that thing rolling for you. We're going to keep improving the show for you. We're going to keep bringing you new stuff. I'm lining up some guests when we can actually have them physically. And in the meantime, we'll try to get some on the line. We're going to do some stuff. We're going to have some fun, and we want you to be a part of it. So get on the social media. Follow us on Twitter at Studio 57. Like the Facebook page. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Why? Because we can broadcast from anywhere and everywhere all at once, and we want you to come hang out with us. Thank you for everybody that got into the social media today. Angela, Jay, Roy, BP, Joe, and so many others. Thank you very kindly. We appreciate you. We will see you at the same bat time, same bat channel next week. Long-winded goodbye.
Peace out. Stay safe, brothers.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop rap.